very appropriate to have like the boss toss of all Protoss singing the intro for this, and as we get into a PvP for the Ting of the Hill. Interesting comment coming from the Team Liquid thread, though, saying that this is more of a gauntlet than the King of the Hill, and I guess that would be another way to describe it, but we are looking to see who's on top. Lots of money to be won, but it's worth noting that Neeb has already won $100 today and can walk away with no less than that if at any point he loses. But representing the sponsors, as he is their newest and currently only player, in the bottom right side, he's the blue Protoss Neeb.
In the top left, as the red Protoss, he's HuK.
Now, HuK is actually, I would say, one of his biggest weaknesses we've seen over the years of casting him is he is pretty reluctant to scout. Now, it's not to say he never scouts, because we've actually seen him specifically start probe scouting when he's behind in a PvP. Seeing Neeb do this right away, that's good. That's, I think, the safe bet. HuK always tries to get away with a little bit more, but I like that he's going to send out a probe scout. Because, again, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, but this is one that we've seen over the years of casting him.
Unfortunately, when someone just proxy 2 gates on your own ramp, you know, that really sticks in your mind for how little they scout.
That's right, that series versus Crank. Gosh, what was that? That was forever ago.
Back when Crank was a pro gamer, so pretty long time ago. Yeah, so that does stick out, and certainly I think it can happen, though, in a matchup, certainly, that did evolve like it did back in Heart of the Swarm, because Legacy of the Void, it has its own problem, but even that I feel is a little bit different. In Heart of the Swarm, there really was a huge variety of openers that, you know, you could or could not scout, including the proxy gateways. But for PvP, I mean, first of all, we just don't see it as much, of course, as commentators, and I'm not sure about the actual pro players on ladder, but as commentators, we don't see it that often, but like, lack of proxies just in general in Legacy of the Void, you know, the cheeses feel like they're not as strong, so don't really worry about that most of the time. And it seems like what they're scouting for is usually just, are you going Stargate or aren't you? Yeah. It's like the Stargate option or the ground-based option, the gateway option. Well,
actually, that reminds me of an old core principle of what PvP used to be. Now, this is actually kind of interesting, very intentionally trying to avoid a conflict in the middle of the map, but PvP used to be like, oh, you went for a Nexus? I have to go for a Nexus. Like, if I don't go for a Nexus, I'm going to lose. Now it's kind of like that with Stargates, right? Like, you made this? Okay, now I have to make this.
It's certainly, it's better, as always. It's always better, has always been better since Wings of Liberty. It's a much more fun matchup now, but Legacy of the Void, it's not about this early game, which is obviously interesting, can really impact. You see, Adepts they can end games pretty early, although most Processes have gotten very good at defending against them, having pylons and propositions and whatnot. But it's about that mid game that makes it so fun nowadays with that Disruptor Ball or Charge at Archon, depending on, you know, the player.
Neeb has got a considerable amount of probes here. HuK did not quite get to his opponent's mineral line. We saw a bit of a struggle with one of the Adepts trying to jump off the cliff. I don't know, but 9 workers down puts HuK at a severe disadvantage, as it looks like he's setting up for what is an attempted all-in.
4-gate, yeah. So I guess I said, like, lack of proxies, and I did mean the early 2, 3, 4-gate, not the proxy to help warp in, which... yeah, that happens often enough, I suppose. I'm surprised to see HuK put it so brazenly just right there in front of where you can see, but as long as it gives you that quick warp in, which it doesn't for the first one.
Well, he's not playing secrets. That's for certain. All right, so the probe damage that Neeb did, though, I mean, this really has to be emphasized. HuK might not actually have the production to produce out of all 4 gateways, and that's where this gets really scary. There's an Oracle setup as well, so this will actually deal with Adepts. Like, let's say HuK has to manage to sneak some Adepts in while he's focusing Stalkers in the front. Neeb can't run back to the mineral line to stop that, and an Overcharge might not be in position. But an Oracle, that'll certainly take care of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. It is interesting to see it brought back, but, you know, the Mothership Core is rarely brought with the army, it feels like, these days, especially with an all-in, because you're not going to recall.
That is so many Stalkers.
Yeah, like, and actually Neeb, he tried to go for a Nexus. Did he actually underestimate what this was?
I think he may have. He may have thought, like, oh, I killed enough probes, like, there's just no way he's got the damage to deal with this. But he busts through, takes out that first pylon. HuK still has a bit of a Stalker lead, and with no Blink in play, there is no innate advantage here for Neeb. I mean, his production actually won't match HuK's despite that income disadvantage. As he depowers this pylon, that's going to remove the Robo, potentially. Oh, and he's going to put another one down immediately, so there's not going to be any chance of Immortals coming out to save his ass in that clutch sort of scenario. Probes get pulled into this. HuK's killing workers to even this up, but he's starting to lose a lot of his momentum, and when you are going for an all-in, momentum is everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, like, Neeb could have afforded to lose a couple of probes, but he sends the Oracle across the map. That's where the Mothership Core is staying at home is a big problem. It seems like it always is at home. Putting a Caesar Trap, though, down on the Nexus to both scout and deny it a little bit is pretty cool.
So, yeah, over here. What I really like, though, was the Adepts. I thought they were actually going to transfer through, because that could actually kill several probes before they get cleaned up. Like, there's no Mothership Core. It got picked off. So, yeah, here we go. HuK's going to be able to just pick off, like, probably 4 to 6 probes, takes the Stalkers out of position. This allows Neeb to, HuK to advance into Neeb's base, and HuK's going for pylons right now, but there's no Mothership Core to overcharge, so there's not a necessity to do that.
Yeah. It is important to note that, like, Neeb, he didn't try and get into the Mothership Core. He just warped in what he could and saved it for the Immortal, actually, that's popping out right now.
Right, and the Immortal's going to really change things up here now for Neeb. Before, this was a bit of a shaky defense. Now I kind of feel like this defense is almost guaranteed. He's going to have a force field to block that ramp. He's going to have Immortal sitting at the top of it. HuK did, it's worth noting, start probing a little bit behind this. Didn't go for a natural base or anything like that, but he did recover his economy instead of sitting on this staggered, very awkward all-in.
I love this Oracle, you know, it's never diving in, because it dives in against 3 foes and overcharge. It actually does, like, 0 damage. Yeah. But putting Revelation on that, we'll see the Mothership Core moves, as well as, you know, potentially see a very important tech structure go down, if it ever does. But HuK, you know, he might have gotten a few more probes, but he's still pretty all in here. He's not even trying to take a Nexus, although it would be denied.
He's kind of hit soft contained territory. So with his own force fields set up and good to go, and then, again, no blink out of Neeb, it guarantees that Neeb won't be expanding. So if HuK can sneak his own Nexus in, a Robo, and catch up, like, there's potential here. But I gotta say, like, in every respect possible, this doesn't look great for HuK right now.
No, it does not. He was banking so many minerals, I wondered if he would try, but nope, still no probe going out, and Neeb's trap is still set up. Neeb's actually, you know, he realizes, I guess, it's a soft contain, but he also, with that trap, sees that it's not really a worry right now. It's not like HuK is out macroing him back at home. So he might not be able to get down the ramp, unfortunately, because you're not going to get Colossus. Not anymore, anyway. But you can start harassing them. You know, get a Warp Prisms and the Adepts in, hopefully pop the Overcharge enough times that you can finally send the Oracle in, or, you know, what have you, and actually do something. He could also just, you know, lift everything and go down the ramp and try and come from behind, but... That
donation scared the crap out of me, by the way, because we had none today. I wasn't ready for it. Thank you to Cernator for the $10 donation. He says, BTTV rocks, Ting rocks, and Neeb is favored, but I'm rooting for HuK. Aw, good to see some HuK fans still coming out to cheer.
Huh?
Oh yeah, Cernator, let's chat. What color do you want that donation to go towards? It's pretty much between blue and white at this point, but you can pick any of the others. Now HuK's gonna get awkwardly forced into a fight. The Adepts actually transfer through, and the Overcharge is gonna be a little much. This Stasis Ward might actually favor HuK. It'll save the Adepts, funny enough, and still provide him the high ground vision for the Stalkers to fight, but not gonna be enough at this stage, and I think that's gonna be that. Now, I didn't realize Adepts could escape the Stasis Trap with Psionic Transfer. Did that just happen?
Wait,
did I just see that happen?
I don't know. But, okay, that's interesting. I was going to say, though, that what HuK did with the Adepts was kind of cute. Like, he intentionally focus-fired the Sentries to stop further force field, as well as, you know, the Guardian Shield. But it just was a case where, yeah, it wasn't going to work since the Robos started pumping Immortals. The Warp Prism went to the other side of the map, by the way, but it didn't matter.
Well, HuK fought pretty well off of a pretty bad position, but congratulations to Neeb, who takes game number 1. Next map is going to be Ruins of Endion, I believe, and we're just going to hop into a quick 2-minute break while we get into that series. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see you in just a moment. Alright, we're back. We're just going to skip the intro, hop directly into game. Map 2 in this best of 5. Sterner says, by the way, he wants it on blue, if you could remind me of that a little bit later. But in this best of 5, game number 2 here for the Ting of the Hill in the bottom left side of Ruins of Endion, we've got the blue Protoss Neeb.
And in the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it's HuK.
So, I was kind of watching the stream delay, and I'm glad we have it. And I guess, yeah, if you set that Adept transfer out before they get locked in, they also, I guess, go to the transfer. That's got to be a bug, but that's kind of a cool bug, you know what I mean?
Sure, cool. Yeah, cool, because I'm not Protoss, so I don't have to deal with it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It obviously doesn't affect PvP that much. Otherwise, there would be bigger complaints about it. But I think someone might bring it up eventually.
I think what I really enjoyed about that game, though, was again seeing HuK play from what was 100% behind, but doing it pretty well to a point where it almost looked feasible.
Yeah, I mean, he was at like an almost even army supply. He was like 8 or 10 down, but going up a ramp against force fields against a better army, that's more than just army supply. But anywho, HuK, not surprising to see him be aggressive. This guy's micro used to be his highlight feature, and his aggression can be very, very good. But Neeb was just a little too prepared, which was pretty amazing considering that initially it looked like it was, a case of being underprepared. But he still worked out. So great start for Neeb, but only in a best of 5. There's still quite a few games to go, and PvP has not been going badly for HuK. I checked his win record, and it is his highest win record right now, and like his most recent games versus Protoss have been like pretty good. Like he's won against some notable North American players, he's lost against some notable North American Protosses.
Well, the real question is, why does he bother practicing anything except for versus Zerg? Am I right? Balance complaints.
Anywho.
So actually, interesting question coming from Jad. Who chose the players for this BaseTradeTV? I did, but unfortunately, because Ting wanted to do this on the 26th, the problem, by the way, for us broadcasting, but a problem for some people who are still in school or had scheduling for this, that, and the other. We didn't want to grab any Europeans because we wanted to try and keep this mostly North American if possible, since Ting is a North American company, specifically American. So I kind of picked from some players I thought would give us the best games, some of the fan favorites, a good mix of everybody. Well, a lot of people didn't see it. Drunken Boy vs. Neeb was actually a really fun series to watch for the DreamHack Tour WCS Spring Challenger series. That was, of course, me and Fear Dragon casting back for that one, but it was good. It was good. So I was happy to invite him back for this.
That's cool. Looking forward to it then. Let's not forget that last game, it did start off with Neeb doing some pretty serious damage with his Adepts, which is not the same here. I think he killed like 9 last game. He's only gotten 4 here. He did end up getting some scouting, though, some very important scouting. So we didn't see the Dark Shrine, but he did see a Twilight Council that wasn't researching, and that could have been a little serious.
I was going to know, for HuK, he did get some interesting scouting, though, because he sees the Robo coming down so quickly. So for him to do this is certainly risky, because I don't... We've talked about the timing on that Observer so many times, but Neeb might not be going for the Observer first.
Yes, that is a good point. And even if you do, it might go across the map, like, instantly, so the timing might not be there. But another thing, and this is very, very old school, I don't think I've seen this since Winds of Liberty, to be honest, like, maybe once Race and Heart of the Swarm, is you can use an Archon to break force fields.
Yep.
So, like, back in the day, you would do a DT rush, which was actually more expensive than it is now, and then it would fail, and then you'd be like, oh, well, I'll just, like, 48 like you anyways, and break the force field. Very obnoxious stuff, and that is option for HuK.
Well, this is really interesting. HuK has to defend this position now. He doesn't want the rocks to be broken down, because those will take too long to break through, and even if you warp in DTs to kill them faster, it'll give away the fact that there's DTs.
Archons can't break rocks?
I guess they are, like, literally energies that you think they could just push them out of the way or something. But at any rate, that Immortal is being produced. We have an Observer queued up next, so HuK's not going to have the sickest timing for this, unfortunately. And that Dark Shrine now finishing... I mean, he'll see the Immortal and maybe think there's a bit of leeway here, but that Observer is going to be out, and I can't see DTs doing much.
Yeah. Even if they turn into an Archon, I mean, it's it's not about breaking a force field, although that's still going to be, kind of useful. It's about breaking through those rotated overcharges, am I right? Alright, so the 2 DTs, they walk in, actually 2 Adepts in the main are being just very distracting, and oh god.
Yeah, he realized the Observer was out. It's abrupt, but makes sense, because HuK was going for something that did get countered. It's strange to me, though, because he scouted the Robo. Like, he had to have known that, like, even if Neeb plays greedy and goes for, like, 2 Immortals, he still can get an Observer out at a relatively decent timing.
The time at which he scouted the Robo was very unfortunate, because... he had waited so long to get the minerals and gas for the Dark Shrine that if he scouts the Robo and then says, well, I can't do a Dark Shrine, let me just go for, like, Blink, it still would have been a very late time. He would have lost out in the macro with no Nexus, and I guess he just... he knew he was doomed, but he tried anyway.
Well, that's going to put Neeb in a nice 2-0 lead. Not over yet. HuK still has another game to come back for. What's the next map?
Arena.
Okay. Maybe we see something a little bit cheesy. Maybe we don't. But fingers crossed here, guys. Next up on the docket, though, not to skip past this series by any means, but next up is going to be Drunken Boy. So we'll have a Terran into the mix, and if Neeb beats him, then again, it'll be a Protoss to finish with Bales. Now, the awkward thing with Bales is I believe we should be fine on time, but I don't remember which time it is he gets home from school, so...
Is he East Coast?
No, he's like Central or something weird, too. Like, it's like just barely off of something I know how to calculate off the top of my head, so... Ideally, we should be fine. Like, the timing looks fine right now. I'm just saying, we may end up having downtime later because of that. Anyways, we'll see you guys on Arena here in just a moment. Alright, welcome back for game number 3. With a very nice 2-0 lead spawning in the upper left side of the map. He's blue, he's Protoss, and he represents TING now. It's going to be Neeb.
In the bottom left, as the red Protoss, it is EG's HuK.
So kind of cool. I really love that whenever we do stuff with TING, Jesse tries to basically uses it as an excuse to not do real work and work here. But, oh, what? Oh, Forge. Wait. Oh, shit! That's some disrespect is what that is. I was going to comment really quick, though. Jesse's been fielding a lot of questions in chat. What I've really liked seeing is people been asking, like, what are you going to make Neeb do? Oh, he doesn't see this.
Oh, my God.
But I love that Jesse's emphasis is, like, he really wants to let Neeb do his own thing, and he wants Neeb to do well. And, like, that's really cool to see that level of support from a sponsor. Because normally, they're a lot more demanding. Like...
Yeah.
Like, Neeb must show this amount of time of blank and must attend this photo shoot and I don't know, whatever. But this is... Is this going to work? I got to be honest, we've never seen this happen in pro play. Not at this level, at least. So this is...
Okay.
feel like
Seize the Forge.
This is like kind of borderline beyond, but borderline like not a bad choice. Okay, yeah, he scouts that Forge.
He still hasn't seen where Neeb is putting it down, but it's not too hard to figure out. Like, there you go, he sees it. So it's it's only one cannon right now, and it's not reached the Nexus, which is the most important part.
It actually doesn't cover the other cannons either, which is another important part. So Zealot can technically swipe away at this, but I guess the southern cannon is covered. The part for HuK, though, is he knows that it's the probe that's the problem here, not the cannons necessarily.
Yeah.
Eventually deal with those, but the mothership core is going to be so late, there's not going to really be an overcharge. He's going to send a Zealot across the map, or try to, but Neeb walls him in so that he can't.
That was kind of cool. He could send a probe to the bridge, though, and wall off.
That's true. For HuK, though, it's worth noting he did sneak a probe out, and I think he's just going to try and get money and take a gold elsewhere. So, with a mothership core and the Zealot on the other side of the field, he can potentially kill everything that Neeb has at home. Neeb's going to put pylons and cannons into his own mineral line to prevent this from happening very easily, but HuK's racing against the clock. He needs to get 400 minerals before the Nexus dies in order to take a base anywhere else on the map.
Yeah, well, he has it, so, I mean, you could try, but...
Stalker's going to try and walk outside the base too, but Neeb's ready to wall those in too, if at all possible. Going to pull around the cannon. HuK's going to realize this is not going to be an option for him any longer. Stalker's going to actually chip away at the Nexus, though. They're going to have a nice spot. As long as he uses the Mothership and the Zealot to zone out, he should be fine. Nexus starts up over here. Probes are going to get stacked up, and he's going to try and walk around the north side, I would imagine. This is so many kinds of weird, but I gotta say, I like HuK's reaction to this. Weird as that is to consider. These two Stalkers are going to be huge.
Cannon Rush has been here from the dawn of time.
Oh my god, you can overcharge.
He is going to overcharge. There you
probes.
go. Gets at least 2.
Neeb's going to start 3 gateways back at HuK's base.
He's got a cybernetics core over there too, I believe, so he could start warp gate as well. Like, but he doesn't have enough gas for it, and he can't mine from the gas geyser. So never mind about that.
So Neeb wants the base trade, but not in a conventional sense. And the probes get blocked in.
Denied.
Super denied. As HuK is only going to have 1 probe to mine with on that Nexus. He has no money. He actually has 0 minerals. He's got the 1 probe to work with. You can try and run them out now. I don't know. This is so weird because the way I look at this, right? Is like HuK's gonna take a very long time to break these cannons, but he eventually will. Neeb doesn't have the money. Oh, he does have the money. He starts a Nexus over here. HuK's seeing this, pulls the probes to surround, and he's gonna try and kill it. This looks silly, but I think this is not a bad move.
And he can kill it. Like, the cannons can't quite reach it.
Well, he's also in hold positioning, so he doesn't. But it doesn't work like that with Workers. That works with that with like Lings and Zealots, but you have to actually attack the Nexus.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. So, I mean, okay, well, this is... the probe
Mothership Core!
Take care of it.
Mothership Core can come home and Photon overcharge his own pylon.
Oh, will that kill the Nexus? I mean, it's a lot of damage, but it doesn't last for a long time.
It should. I don't know that it will, but it should.
Very interesting. So he has
mining.
I mean, Neeb has a pretty big weakness right now, where his cannons aren't quite covering enough.
Right.
Like, They don't cover Semitic Core either, I believe.
Oh, Neeb's recognized that HuK could overcharge this, but I still don't think HuK has the problem here. He's playing Probe Wars. They both have almost no workers to speak of. He pulls behind the mineral lines and can take an advantage in that regard, but picking away slowly at this with the Stalkers. The probes are coming for a surround. Nexus gets cancelled. This is HuK's game without a doubt now. There's simply no way that Neeb can win. And HuK, it's one probe at a time, but he's got money for another. He's gonna build more cannons with the money he canceled from that Nexus. What is happening, Zombie?
Did he miscalculate?
I think
he was
really
only
did.
like 6 minerals away from another Nexus.
I think he really did on that cancel and wasn't expecting this to be like this. He's trying to kill.
Even if he did,
There's so much emphasis killing HuK's pylon, but HuK's not trying to overcharge at all. He's like slowly just chipping away at the back door here. GG. What the fuck? GG.
Amazing.
Leave it to Neeb to make it interesting. Congratulations, HuK, though. I gotta, like, that was solid defense. You know, we've seen HuK do cool things like this, too, in the past, where, like, he gets proxy racks, the bunkers wall him in, so he'll take, like, a Nexus elsewhere on the map. That was back in the days of, like, Frost and shit, but he's always had good reactions to these sort of things, so that's kind of smart. But I guess we'll hop off to a small break. Very short. We'll keep it quick as we can. We'll see you guys for game number 3 soon. No, 4. Yeah. 2-1. So before I even do intros, before I even talk about anything, I want to discuss one really cool aspect of that last game. First, I love that chat noticed that HuK could have recalled. I didn't even think about that situation, and maybe he wasn't either. But for all the jokes that get made for over the years, like HuK's micro that game, I just want to point out, like, he was winning the micro war with the probes when there was cannons, when there was more probes for his opponent. Like his control was pretty admirable right there at the end of the game. But decision making was definitely best. Now he's still up 2-1. 1 win away from victory. In the top left side of Preon Terraces, it's going to be Ting's Neeb, who the hell plays this greedy?
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, it is HuK.
I feel like if HuK just goes 2 gateway into a depths, like, is that an auto win borderline? Like,
I'm not sure about that. So
if Neeb fully walls off, he'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think the option lies. So Preon Terraces, of course, has a smaller wall off, and I think you can wall off with just the cybernetic core here. And, of course, HuK has to wait for his own cyber core before making those adepts that are worrying with the 2 gateways. So Neeb's going to scout this, and I assume he's played a ton of time doing this before.
I would really like to see HuK. Oh, okay, it's too late now. I was going to say, do that thing where you build a pylon and cancel it and build it and cancel it, just keep the door open.
Yeah, that actually might have been worth it. Of course, opportunity lost now. You might be a bit curious to see this, though, just in general. You wouldn't have anticipated it.
So he could actually swap this out. Instead of going for adepts, go for stalkers now instead. I think he's got to have an idea that's going to be a wall off that he's not going to be able to just walk through.
So Neeb did go for double gateway, so it wasn't another gate. The Semics were that walled it off. It was second gateway. So he'll have his own decent production, of course, but still needs to wait for that cyber core. He's not going to mothership core yet, although I think by the time things get really hairy, he'll have one. And of course, he'll have his own double stalker production or what have you. So I think he's fine. It's odd to see a Protoss go for a Nexus first, but it has happened. It even happened in Heart of the Swarm. I recall Bisu trying that and then dying, but the point is, you could.
So HuK's probe, like, Neeb has to know that this stayed in the base on account of the fact that it's fully walled off. But it's in a position where it's not getting scouted. So for him, he's just going to come back, run in, scout, try and hide again, maybe. There's no proxies that go down the way you used to, but...
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, that needs to be matched, though, by Neeb. It sounds silly, but if a mothership core flooded over, she could overcharge and the old Ugur. But works away at it. HuK's probably going to cancel the pylon, if I had to guess. There you go. So, I mean, it is, just remind everybody, 1 base for HuK. He has to do damage here, because Neeb, as funny as it is, this gold base is giving him an insane income lead.
Just a natural in general. I mean, you could definitely see why you would want to try and stop them from getting this gold base or the second base in general. And you're going to be like, okay, I can harass them early on, but...
This is what it's like to be...
But...
Neeb used to play Terran, so I guess he knows what this feels like.
Yeah. This is already so much production, though, from Neeb. Like, okay, almost lost a soccer there. That could have been bad. Even if he loses a gateway and gets the wall broken here, he still has his mothership core. He has another gateway on the way. Yeah, I think that he's fine. honestly. But HuK is still going to try. Like, at this point, like, getting his own Nexus is not going to work out so well. The income graph, by the way, which is finally back on, is just spiked, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the second he took this gold, he transferred to it. You can see, like, boing. Like, this dip in HuK isn't him getting ahead. That's Neeb transferring away.
I was going to say, better watch out for his Militia Core. That was a good focus fire from Neeb as he realized HuK wasn't pulling it back so quickly. Well, the Adepts can get through, but the Force Field's actually a problem now for the Stalkers to walk through.
I really like that wall up at the top here. This is a very smart move. That's going to catch the Adepts, but it also draws the army out of position, allowing HuK to walk up. The sentry goes down. There's going to be that overcharge. He's overstaying his welcome.
Yeah, what an interesting thing that he just did there, too. He force-fielded the Adepts away from the army so they couldn't help, at the very least. They were just kind of stuck in limbo. That was a cool use of a force field.
But this is where we talk about Neeb's strengths. Like, he makes the best of a bad scenario all the time. So that was really cool. Like, he knew he couldn't keep the Stalkers from advancing forward because he had missed that opportunity, so removes the Adepts from the equation instead. Oh, that Mothership goes too busy in the natural, so she's not looking at the main, and HuK comes in with an Oracle. While this goes on, he's continuing to pressure the front, so Neeb's not just... Oh, he's not paying attention now. He sits and eats an overcharge. Almost loses a Stalker fort. 7 probes go down. That Oracle did so much damage behind this.
But not enough, I would say. It's still even probes, and he still has a gold base.
Right, and it is, I guess, still 1 base for HuK behind it, so it gets really easy to get excited about this, but it's what HuK's doing has to kill Neeb. Like, there is no falling back, especially with a Stargate in the front line. Like, there's no falling back off this.
I saw the production tab, and I didn't even realize the Stargate was there.
Neither did I. I just assumed it was a home. Like, who the hell does this? But he brings the Depths to the main. He's going to kill more probes. The emphasis here isn't on trading out with the army. It is about killing workers, so dances around best he can. That Void Ray is certainly going to help bust things up a bit. It's going to deal with the Immortal, but also force Stalkers to fight differently. Neeb's going to try and break the bottom of the ramp, but this is not something I think he can necessarily do right now, not with the army supply that he has. HuK transfers those Adepts not to the natural base mineral line, but to his main army, so still retaining a lot of units. That Oracle didn't die, so it's still going to be a threat. 3 Stalkers left in the main because of this. Takes away a significant amount of what's in the army.
Neeb has started pro production again, but I think he saw that Void Ray, knows that he's actually in a bit of trouble. The one overcharge that he has might want to focus the Void Ray and actually gets the Adepts.
So here's the problem with the Void Ray, though. It can take on like 3 or 4 Stalkers pretty easily when prismatically aligned, but when it's not, it's just okay damage in the back. So HuK kind of working around that cooldown. Did he lose his Mothership Core finally, I guess?
HuK?
Yeah, HuK lost it.
Yeah, he actually focus fired it, I forgot, and lost, I think, 2 or 3 Stalkers.
Ooh, cool combination. Oracle comes in. She could probably help kill the Stalkers a lot faster, to be honest, instead of going for probes, but the Adepts working for that same end goal. He tries to go up the ramp, but as we see here, gets caught, and that's going to be the game. Rip corpses.
Because I was going to bring up that even if Neeb lost all of his probes, or better yet, just transfer the probes to the main so he wouldn't have to worry about it, he probably still could have been okay, but... didn't need to. Still won the game. GG.
And the series. So super GG. This will give Neeb now $250 to walk away today with no matter what. So even if he loses against Drunken Boy or loses against Bales, he will walk away today with $250 guaranteed. But for Drunken Boy and Bales, let's also not forget, they also have the opportunity to win some money here as well. Obviously, it's great that Ting can play their own player, but we'll see if these other series get any tougher for him, as maybe he's getting a little bit worn out and using up all of his mojo early on. We are about 15 minutes ahead of schedule, though, so I'm going to see if we can get a hold of Drunken Boy to start early. We may be on a bit of a delayed break, so what I'm going to do is we're going to go to ads and all this good stuff. But first, we actually have an old Ting video recycled I want to play. This is when Jesse... tried to play against the viewers a little while back, if you guys recall. It was kind of fun time. So we're going to mute ourselves. We're going to go get some food while we try and get a hold of Drunken Boy. And we'll see you guys in a few. I guess just a few. There you go. Awkward send-off. Goodbye. Oh, wait. You forgot to remind me. I got to put $10 on blue before we leave.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Good job, Zombie. Thank you for reminding me. All right. We'll see you guys in a few.